Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Craig, how are you?
I'm fucking great.
Are you jacked up?
Super jacked up.
It's been a great week in Boston sports.
Goddamn right it has.
Are you sleep deprived?
It's funny you mention that. Yes, I am. In fact, very much sleep deprived.
It's been a long week.
It has been a long week and a hell of a weekend, and there's lots to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to get into all of everything that's been going on, but most importantly, obviously, the Red Sox and the end of their season.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, we're kind of neglecting everything else that's been going on. We're heavy.
Yeah,
we're heavy World Series this episode.
You all get a bye. All right. Enjoy it because it's over now, people.
There are some times where I really like having a weekly podcast, and there are other times where I'm like, that's too much. We can't talk about everything today. So this is one of those episodes. We're all World Series, so buckle up. Should be pretty fun. Enjoy the episode. Red Sox won the World Series this week, Melissa. Did you know this?
I have heard that.
What do you know?
Fucking Title Town.
Fucking did it. Further bolstering the namesake of this podcast.
Exactly.
We got it. You know what's funny?
We're killing it.
So I was out of town this week, and I flew in last night, Monday night. And
big time.
I was like thinking they might do this. Fucking the pilot's like, we'd like to welcome you to Boston, Massachusetts, home of the 2018 World Champion Boston Red Sox. And everyone on the plane's like, woo! And the woman next, like 2 seats over from me in my little row of 3, but not right next to me, she goes, welcome to Title Town. And everyone was like, yeah! And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
You're like, lady, have I got a show for you?
Man, I wish we had fucking business cards or
you would have
stickers or
been
something.
like,
I would have been like, here you go. Welcome indeed. Anyways, some other shit happened though around town. So let's get to that and then we'll dive into the World Series stuff.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
Well, the Patriots played a Monday night game against the Bills this week up in good old Buffalo. They ultimately won 25-6, but it sure wasn't pretty if you watched that game. It was the fourth quarter before they managed to score a touchdown, and thankfully the Bills are trash, so they also couldn't find their way into the end zone. We saw McCourty, Devin, I think.
It was Devin.
Okay. Pick off Anderson and run it back for 6, which, amazingly, the first Patriots defensive touchdown in 40 games.
Wow.
I was shocked when they said that.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, the Van
it was
thing with
special teams.
Yeah.
I had that same conversation last time. It was like last week, and I was like, that was special teams. 3 phases of the game.
Defensive player.
Shut up.
Defensive player. Yeah, sure.
Anyway, that was the longest active streak in the NFL.
Yikes.
Is that just crazy?
Well,
I was shocked.
I mean, I didn't need that stat to know the Patriots defense sucked, but now I have it.
This is multi-season sucking. Anyway, we next see the Patriots when they take on Aaron Rodgers and the Pack in Gillette.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' first start in Gillette, in fact.
Yeah.
It's another Sunday night game, so the no sleep for New England trend continues on.
Yeah.
I just need a good 1 o'clock game, people. I need to get some rest.
Well,
Fuck's sake.
no more baseball is definitely helpful.
Yeah.
That was a tough weekend.
It's been a long postseason.
Bruins.
Yeah, they play.
Last week, the Bees won 2 on the road in Ottawa and Philly, and then dropped the big rivalry game to the Canadians at home, which was apparently a snoozer. I was following along on Twitter. Joe Haggerty wrote a whole big piece on NBC Boston, I think.
Oh, really?
He writes for about like how the Canadians Bruins thing is pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Which after one game, it's like, okay, buddy, relax.
Sure.
Anyways, it was their first loss at the Garden this season. One guy who's probably glad the Sox have done so well is Tuukka Rask, who let up the 3 goals against Montreal and has looked shaky compared to Yaroslav Halak, his backup, my boy. This week they're playing at Carolina and at Nashville before they come home for 4 games. And we'll see probably going to see the return of Torrey Krug in the Carolina game, Dave Backus in the Nashville game. Injury bugs hit the team a little bit here and there, so getting some of these guys back would be great. Shore up the D, get some stability on the offensive lines. And yeah, Tuukka Rask has, I was going to say skated. That was a bad, stupid pun. Tuukka Rask has definitely avoided some heat that he otherwise you would think, be subjected to if the Red Sox weren't dominating. And I mean, this part of the hockey season is like, it's even if forget the Red Sox for a second. I mean, you got football going on, so like that's enough of a cover. So he's like 2 stories deep.
Yeah,
maybe even 3.
Yeah, because the Celtics are garnering. People want to see this Kyrie Hayward thing.
He is lucky because like if this was fucking March, April, May, like it would be like, dude,
brutal.
You suck, which he has and continues to do.
Yeah, those slow starts for Tuca are not
great.
not great. He's got to figure that out. Speaking of the Celtics, they lost to Orlando,
Ugh,
as one of our friends called them, the Orlando Tragic.
gross.
Which
That's a
made me
good
laugh.
name. I
That
like
was
that.
good. It made me laugh.
Yeah, gross loss. Good name.
They lost to them at the beginning of the week, but then rebounded with wins against OKC and the Pistons, who they actually beat the Pistons pretty handily. It was like 109 to 89.
Okay.
So they looked better. Daniel Tice is now out indefinitely with a slight tear in his plantar fascia.
Ooh,
How do you like that? But it looks like Baines will be returning from his hamstring issue.
didn't even know he was out.
Yeah, well, that's because it's been the World Series.
Yep.
Another team getting a lot of shade. Coming up, they're going to play against Detroit again. Then they face off against the Bucks and somebody else who's not the Pistons. I don't know why I wrote that. Anyway, quick Celtics fashion note.
Let's hear it.
I'm excited about this. Nike has a deal with the NBA that has all teams wearing a rotation of 4 different uniforms.
Right.
There's a report out there that the Celtics will debut new city uniforms. They're going to be white with green lettering and gold trim. And if you haven't seen it, Google it. But I dig them way more than the gray ones they wore last year. They're sick looking.
The grays were lame.
Yeah, they're dumb.
The black is sick.
The black is cool.
Obviously, you've got your classic whites, classic greens.
Yeah. This one is very fucking every dude in Southie will buy this jersey. So if Nike is looking to drum up jersey sales, which of course they are, you're going to see 8,000 of these Hayward jerseys walking around Castle Island in the next couple of months.
Sure.
They're very classic retro looking.
Yeah. The gold trims, I'm okay with it.
I like it.
I'm all right with it.
Anyway, what do you know?
The Celtics have this problem where they're like a classic franchise with classic jerseys. So they're like, they don't want to go too crazy.
Right.
You can tell that they're being deliberately conservative with this like mandatory 3rd, 4th jersey thing.
Right, because the Shamrock's iconic. You don't need.
Yeah, just Celtics, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's all good.
It's Boston across the
so
front.
they're really just sort of like making changes, like little nibbling around
Little
the edges of
tweaks.
the jersey. They should just really just fucking send it.
Yeah, they should just tell
That's
you.
what the Bruins did. The Bruins 3rd jerseys with like the bear on the front.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Was sick.
Anyway.
Not the one from the 90s where the bear looked very complacent with that yellow jersey. I'm talking about the new bear, the side profile bear, the all blacks.
Not just like sad bear.
yeah, the complacent
Zoo bear.
Yeah. All right, and that brings us to the baseball team. Your Boston Red Sox, Melissa, your 2018 Boston Red Sox are now officially the World Series champions for the 4th time in 15 years. They beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-1, clinched the championship on the road again.
I think all 4 have been on the road.
13 was in Fenway.
Oh.
Yeah. But most of them have been on the road.
Was St. Louis the home team that year?
No, it just went to 6 games. I don't remember. Well, yeah, it was game 6. So they must not have been. Anyhow.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, curse of being the home team and being really good means that 3, 4, 5 are all on the road. So let's fucking get right into this thing and talk about the series. What did you think about it, Melissa? Good series, bad series, fun series, boring series? What'd you think?
I thought overall it was a pretty fun series.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking awesome.
I was excited to see the way they played and the way they like finished it out. You know, we've talked obviously at nauseum about them being a 108 win team. Like I wasn't sure they would make it through the National League, but damn, do they prove me wrong? They just kind of like everyone just seemed to come up in the way that they needed to.
Yeah.
To like shut it down.
Yeah, I was highly entertained by the series. I think LA is a wonderful opponent. They're very hateable.
Yeah, they're super hateable.
The Boston LA thing, like you forget about how, I mean, it's really like, it's not that we're so like whatever, like blue collar, normal, likable, whatever. It's just that LA is so celebrity, glitzy, fucking unlikable. Like any other city in America would have the same hatred towards LA that we have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't hate LA because Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, I wasn't alive.
No, yeah, I don't
really
care about
give
that.
a shit about that.
Yeah.
But like fucking watching LA games where they like do the like, you know, the mandatory montage of celebrities in the stands where I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't care that Pat Sajak is at this game. Like I
was like,
don't
we're digging
fucking
deep for celebrities.
care. Don't do like, why do you have to do that? And you know, additionally you have the players on the field, fucking Machado and Puig.
Oh, yeah.
Really unlikable guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought the series was fucking great. I also predicted Sox in 5.
You did.
Thank you
Nailed
very
it.
much. And yeah, I mean, the Sox fucking dominated this playoffs. They lost 1 game to each team.
Yeah.
They only lost 1 game on the road.
Yeah.
And it was the fucking 18-hour marathon,
Yeah,
18
which,
inning,
like,
7-hour marathon.
I would have been ready to just end it too.
Are you kidding? Like that that's a crazy statistic to me. Like the fact that they just think about like just what does each ballpark hold? Call it like 40,000 people.
Sure.
So 40,000 people across 2, 5, 8 away games.
Like watch their team get dominated by.
Yeah, that's 320,000 people that were just like, fuck!
I paid so much money for this.
except for the people that happened to be, and the people that didn't get their days ruined by the Sox in their home park were the ones they had to sit there for 7 hours to see it happen. Like the Red Sox just fucking bummed out the entire
such a good point.
fucking opponent's fandom.
And so really, if you were a Dodgers fan and you stayed for that whole fucking game, you were bummed out anyway. That's a long ass fucking time to be at a baseball game.
Yeah, you could look at it two ways though. You did get 2 games for the price of 1.
Sure thing.
It's 18
that
innings.
is the
a
ultimate
full 2 games of baseball.
ultimate free baseball. I am a baseball fan, and I don't want to be there for 18 games. The one saving grace.
Innings, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. The one saving grace is at least it was in
West
LA.
Coast time?
So
Yeah.
well, West Coast time, and they were fucking freezing their asses off.
Yeah,
It wasn't
true.
like 40 degrees and like plummeting.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the cold. I was picturing what it would have been like. You know, I was like, yeah, they were playing replays of that the next day of the long game, and we'll talk a little bit more specifically about the super long game in a minute.
Yeah.
But they were like showing replays of it the next day, and they like you know your classic like cut to the in stadium clock,
Yeah.
and it was like 11:59. I was like 11:59. That's nothing. You should flip to the fucking shot of the
Boston
bar
clock.
I'm watching in, an East Coast time where I'm
It
getting
would have just been a door
pushed out
'cause
by
they're
bouncers.
closed.
Yeah, like it's fucking 3 a.m.
The lights are just off.
11:59 is not dramatic. Like that is not like
I know.
that's not that crazy.
It's so sad when
Everybody
you're
stays up till midnight. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
Except
like
from
midnight I can handle.
Yeah.
3 a.m. I got shit to do.
you're
can't
right. Yeah,
stay
if that
up late.
was in the East Coast, people would have been getting fucking hypothermia.
Yeah, it would have been cold. Because when you get to that game at 8 o'clock, it's not that cold, and you don't expect to be there till 3 a.m.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that big long game 3? 18 innings.
I thought when it happened that it was going to be their undoing for their time in LA.
Did you think that as it was happening, or only when they lost?
As it was happening, as it was getting later into the game, I would say. Because I just thought Cora overplayed his hand a little bit. Like it felt like he got a little too into the National League strategy magic that like, oh, you got to
Double
switch and double
switches
switch
and
and don't let your pitcher bat more than twice. And I was like, the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Like I'm watching pitchers come in for one batter. And I was like, I feel like you're trying to embrace this like National League idea. I also don't feel like that's how the National League manages their pitchers.
Yeah.
And then we watched Evaldi have the longest start in the entire postseason
out
in
of
the
the bullpen.
middle of the game, or the end of the game, I guess it ended up being. And he was supposed to be your game 4 starter at the time.
Yeah, in between the time they pulled Porcello out and put Evaldi in, so that was like I think the 5th and the 13th.
Yeah.
It was like it got a little cute. You had one at bat from Andrew Benintendi, who at that point was hitting like 500 or something in the series.
right.
JD Martinez also got pulled for a pinch runner, who was Ian Kinsler, who had the most
Who then muffed 2 plays.
most ridiculous fucking trip around the bases of all time. So JD Martinez gets on base in the late innings.
Yeah.
And
Gets
Kinsler
lifted, yeah.
Kinsler gets put in, which at the time I thought was stupid.
I did too.
Like JD Martinez, not the fastest guy in the world. Ian Kinsler, also not the fastest guy in the world. Faster than JD, but like it's not like he's like some specialist. And he fucking
He's no Dave Roberts.
yeah, right. And he fucking gets I think they successfully picked him off at first base.
Agree.
And then, but fortuitously, the call was safe and they didn't see enough to overturn it. So he was
It's one of those
called
Red
safe
Sox
ultimately.
calls.
So yeah, basically he gets picked off at first base, overslides third base,
Yeah,
and
almost
gets picked off again and then gets thrown out at home.
Yeah. And like, not even close.
There's your pinch runner.
Who's
Like,
sending him
it was
in that?
brutal.
I was like, Jesus, he's not even close.
Yeah, so that
I
was-
just rifled it in from center, and he was out by 45 feet.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
only like halfway
It
down
was
the baseline when he got
not
there.
a good trip around the bases for Ian Kinsler, who then I think it was what was that, the 11th or 12th when the Red Sox got up?
The 13th.
No,
yeah.
I think it was later. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think Evaldi came in the 11th, and they went up in the 13th
Yeah,
because he pitched 7.
Right. Yeah, so when the Sox go up with like a throwing error, just sloppy, crappy baseball in the top of whatever inning.
Yeah, because it's been 13 fucking innings.
Yeah, and then in the bottom, Kinsler gets the ground ball that could seal the deal, and he throws it 100 fucking feet away from Christian Vasquez, who's never played first base in his life.
So he's not digging it out of the dirt. Like, it's going to be spot on at his glove.
Yeah.
Like you're a pitcher to a catcher for him to grab it.
Right. Yeah. So that was, I agree with you. Like that felt like, although my opinion on this was only after the game. Cause once like that 13th, all that stuff happened.
Yeah.
Right. That's when the game really was like, like you could tell like both teams were like, fuck.
Yeah, now
like
what?
Both had broken through and managed to score a run each.
Right.
And then it really just sort of like solidified.
Kept
like
going.
Yeah. And you had
Slogging.
Evaldi like throwing fucking bullets. Like he's basically making a start, like you said.
Yeah. And I was concerned because he had to that point been your most consistent starter. And now there's zero chance you're using him in game 4.
And he was doing what he did. He was wheeling up there like Nathan Baldy.
He let
made himself
one run up in 7 fucking innings.
I know.
Like,
yeah. Like
great.
That's great.
Quality start.
Take that any way you can get it. But yeah, I mean, I could understand what Cora was doing in the one sense, like he was managing like to win, which is what he's been doing this whole postseason. It's been working, like pulling starters out of the bullpen and possibly jeopardizing future starts for current,
Worry about
today's
today.
game. Like that was like his philosophy, and it like really fucked him in this game. And I was really afraid that like this would be providing the Dodgers like the lift that they needed to start to turn the series around. And keep in mind also game 4, you've got a spot start from Eddie Rodriguez, who was not ever supposed to be a starter in the playoffs, that is. And the Sox were down 4-1 until the 7th inning. So like that whole time you're like, oh shit.
It really did turn
not
against
until the 7th. In the 7th inning, they were 4-1 because I think they hit that home run in the 6th. But you've got the Dodgers who were like, fucking right there. Like 2-2 was right there.
and
Series tied at 2 was right in their hands.
Right. And that's a momentum thing. Like
Huge.
They ended up prevailing. Now you don't have your game 4 starter. Your bullpen's exhausted. Your whole team's tired. I mean, both teams ended up using 23 players each.
Yeah.
But like it just felt worse from the Red Sox perspective.
Well, when you're watching that lineup of, it was Betts and Bogarts, both who did nothing that whole game.
Yeah.
And then you had,
I think
I don't
Betts
know what
went
the
like
order
0 for
was.
8 or something
But
stupid.
yeah. Betts did, and Bogarts had maybe got on once, but it was not pretty from either one of them. And then you had
2 catchers.
Jackie Bradley, Nunez, 2 catchers, Leon and Vasquez, in the pitcher. Like all trying to just,
I think
both teams were just trying to jack home runs and hit the ball as absolutely hard as they could to win. And it was just a bunch of pop-ups, and it was brutal baseball. Like that was like an epic game, a historic game. It was not a good game or an enjoyable game. Like that whole like second half, was just like terrible baseball.
It'll be one that you'll look back
both
on.
runs
Like
scored on an error, like throwing errors from both teams. It's like brutal.
You'll look back on that one like 5 years from now and be like, oh God, that game was miserable.
Right. Unless the Dodgers were able to turn it around, in which case you would look back on that game and be like, Ian Kinsler is Bill Buckner. Ian Kinsler should be the fucking happiest man in Boston right now. Because like
he was saved from a lifetime of ridicule and hate.
Yeah, seriously.
By the people of
like
Boston.
imagine if that turned the series and the Dodgers won. Like obviously there was no situation under which the Dodgers could win the World Series that game.
Sure. But
neither was there for Bill Buckner though. I'm pretty sure that was game 6.
Yes.
But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, and there was also the classic, we've seen this in all 3 series, idiot social media person for the Dodgers after that game posted on Instagram the win and wrote damage done.
Damage done.
Like, listen, dude. No, first of all, you won 1. Like, good, but it's just 1 so far. You didn't tie the series up. You didn't win
You're
the
still
series.
losing. And it took you 2 games to win 1 game.
Right. And it's like, literally both other teams did something like this mocking the Red Sox, and it didn't work out for them. And now you've fallen victim to the same trap.
That was like the lowest level troll job that like
it wasn't even good.
It wasn't, no. And it wasn't as like, it wasn't as.
The New York thing I appreciated.
Right. But in all 3 cases, it was teams after getting their first win of the series being like way overconfident that that's going to mean anything. And in all 3 cases, the win that they like shook their ass about was the only win they got.
The
so
only
like,
one.
well done. Way to fucking.
Yeah, karma got your back.
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, game 4 I feel like was the best game of the series and the most dramatic game of the series to me, just because you had Eddie Rodriguez not making like Eddie Rodriguez had no business starting that game, even though he's been a starting pitcher for his entire career. But like this postseason, he was a bullpen guy, and he had been a pretty buried bullpen guy. He was basically the only times he pitched pretty much were to get out like a single left-handed hitter, and that's it. And so to me, when I was watching that, like every inning was an adventure because like you never knew
when it was just gonna all fall apart on him.
Like, I don't know, when was the last time you saw Eddie Rodriguez start? Like his last start must have been July or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I couldn't
been
even tell
a while.
you. So like that was an adventure to me, and then just the comeback of it, and like I felt like that was the backbreaking game. Like I was nervous through all of Game 5 just because it's a World Series clinching game, and like obviously you're gonna be like on edge, but it didn't really feel like I felt like that was like the backbreaking game for the Dodgers. Like that's not the team that's gonna fight back from 3-1. Like, come on.
And because after winning that Game 3, like that should have been their chance to turn the series around. So for the Sox to come back and win Game 4 with a spot start from a guy who wasn't in their starting rotation is just like a nails in the coffin kind of win.
It's also wild to think of like who the heroes of the series were, like, and just of this postseason in general. Like if I had told you in like, I don't know, June that we would win the World Series and we'd be talking about how David Price should have won MVP.
Yeah. How
Joe Kelly is Pedro Martinez, apparently. Like, Joe Kelly is Mariano Rivera out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And like Ryan Brazier and Matt Barnes are like all, you know.
The Steve Pierce was going to be knocking dingers out. Like, I would have been like, who the fuck are you even talking about?
It's particularly in Game 5, in the clinching game, like Price, Kelly, Sale. That was the game. And they could have put anybody. They could have put me in there in the ninth and it wouldn't have made a difference. Like Price and Kelly just fucking dealt.
I loved the move to Sale in the ninth.
I hated it.
You did?
I should say I hated it, but I didn't like it. Why?
Because I don't know. He's just like, I just felt like it was, if you're the Dodgers and you know you have them back on their heels and they're, to your point, like they're not a team that's going to fight back. I feel like you put Chris Sale in there and they were just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And just
I guess from that perspective, you put in Kimbrel, at least in the back of their minds, they're like, maybe he'll walk the bases like he did last week.
Right. He's been inconsistent.
Yeah,
and like, we have a chance against him. You see Chris Sale come walking out or running out of the bullpen and you're like, fuck.
You know, it was sick when they had that shot on the broadcast behind Chris Sale as he's walking out and like all the bullpen is like fucking yelling and screaming and like that was I've never seen that in a baseball game in my life.
They were
bullpen guys standing up by the door like fucking hollering, like that was sick.
Yeah,
like it moved.
I just felt like that whole team was like ready to go.
Oh yeah,
the teams even talked about during Game 4 Chris Sale like freaking out in the dugout and like showing some emotion.
Did you see
like,
that?
On TV? Let's fucking go! And
he was like, fucking hollering at people. I was actually, so when was that? Was that Game 4?
Yeah.
So that was after the long game, right? So that was, to me, I was like, so like I said, Game 4 to me was like the series. And I was nervous the whole time because it felt like the Red Sox were, this isn't a feeling. They were objectively vulnerable because they didn't have a real starting pitcher. When I saw Sale like losing his mind, I was like, like, I don't know. Like, if you're a position player, are you really going to respond to like a starting pitcher who hasn't even done great? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like,
I think
that starting pitchers are like, pitchers and position players are kind of like different worlds on a baseball team. And it's like, ooh, I was like, if they lose, I don't know. Like, to me, I wasn't like, yeah, Chris Sale's amp, we're going to win. I was like, ooh. Like, I don't know if I really want that. If that was Mookie Betts or Xander Bogaerts or JD Martinez, like just a position, because he was yelling. He was like, he said, the only thing I could pick out from what he said was like, only took two fucking pitches. He kept saying, like, because it was like, what I think it was.
I don't remember.
I forget who hit the home run. Whatever. I've watched too much baseball over the last couple days. But like, yeah, it was like a 2-pitch at bat, and he jumped all over the guy and fucking like got closer to tying it up. I don't remember the score situation either. Sorry, people. But fucking like, I was like, I don't know if Sale like being the rah-rah guy is necessarily the right thing here.
You know what I liked about it though is that I think that this team and this pitching group more than any other, you know, typically to your point, like pitchers are kind of their own and they're very like with their routine and they only pitch on their starting day. And like even the Dodgers pitchers were like, we're not coming out of the bullpen. We're on the starting pitcher. How dare you would ask me to do that?
Totally.
And I just think like this pitching staff proved that they were in it to win it as much as every other position player every fucking day. And like people, you know, Alex Cora has since said like every pitcher was like, I'm ready to go for Game 4 if you need me. I'm including Evaldi. And I just think to me, it speaks to like the culture that they built and like how they work together. And it's so the antithesis of the chicken and beer Red Sox from, a couple years ago, that they were like, we're all in it. We're all here every day. I'll do whatever you need. We're going to win together. And like, it didn't matter what your position was or what your role normally was. Like, you were there to do what you were asked to do and to be the best you could be. And so I thought like Chris Sale getting pumped and excited in the dugout with all the rest of his players just spoke to like, even when he's not pitching, he was that invested because every game, every at-bat mattered to all of them.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't like that abnormal. Like, I obviously don't know like what Chris Sale's like role or personality is like in the Red Sox clubhouse. But at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know if a pitcher yelling to a bunch of position players about like how to hit and like that's see that home run there, boys. Like that's what you all need to do. It's like you can see how that message would be like.
I guess
potentially not well received.
I didn't take it as
Obviously
that. Like him
worked.
being like, you should have tightened up on your bat a little. You really could have gotten it over
that's
the
what I'm saying. If he had been like shouting all that shit at like Joe Kelly or Nathan Eovaldi or something like, then I would be like, okay, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's Chris Sale. Like, obviously, he's the best.
I think he was just celebrating. Yeah, I don't feel like he was criticizing.
I don't know.
He wasn't giving them feedback on their batting.
There was nothing that the Red Sox could have done other than score runs and win the game that would have made me feel less nervous. So all those things that are just like side stories, I was like, oh, that's bad. We're fucked.
I don't like it. Don't do that. Don't do that. I felt like I never thought I would say this, but I felt like David Price got robbed on that MVP.
I feel like David Price got robbed for that World Series MVP. Just imagine if just imagine like this time last year, if someone was like, Melissa, in the next 365 days, the words, I think David Price got robbed of that World Series MVP are going to leave your mouth.
Yeah, I would have been like,
wild.
I'm gonna have a brain injury in the next year.
Yeah, shit, I got a TBI coming my way. Better buckle up. I think you're totally right. I think you absolutely should have won.
When
MVP.
they cut to the presentation, I was at home watching it because I'm old, and I was like, oh, obviously David Price is gonna win that MVP. And when they cut the camera and
Piss Missile Pierce,
I was like, the fuck's this guy doing there? You're just in the shot, move. And then I was like, oh, they're giving it to Steve Pearce? Like,
yeah, I mean, those things tend to skew offensive. That was my only thought. I was like, maybe it's just they just want to like highlight the guy who like hit the dingers.
But I just felt like he's not a star player either.
Not.
Like I would have even gotten it if, let's say, JD Martinez had hit those 2 home runs in that game, and so you gave it to him,
right?
And it's like, okay, like he's a star in the league.
That's like the Brady thing. Like in like the 28-3 Super Bowl, like James White should have gotten that MVP, but they gave it to Brady because he's Brady. Like, it's like there's a superstar effect for sure.
But I just felt like David Price really, really did come out in Game 5 and was so dominant.
Yeah.
And it was hard.
After having come out of the bullpen in game 4 and also in game 3, I think, after having started game 2.
Everybody pitched in game 3.
I think he warmed up in game 4.
He was, they were saying like people were like fighting for the mound.
He was available 4 out of the 5 days. So game 1 was the Chris Sale day. He didn't do anything in that game. Game 2, he started. Game 3, he pitched. Game 4, he was warm in the bullpen. Game 5, he pitched. Like,
I wonder who makes the decision on who's the MVP. Is it just Major League Baseball?
I think that's a good question.
Is it Chevy?
We should have researched this because I think there's like similar to how they do like real MVP, like the baseball
just a
writers.
Quick panel.
Yeah.
They do a Twitter poll.
Yeah. And I think so I was listening to a little bit on the radio about this night of because they did like overnight coverage on the Sports Hub. And they were talking about how like they were theorizing that like maybe baseball writers like held a grudge against David Price because he's just kind of been a pud to them for like years.
Yeah, well.
Which the reason I bring that up is because that was how I got the theory that the writers voted.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
But you could make the argument that like David Price, who did pitch out of his mind, was doing something that like everybody thought he was always capable of doing.
Yeah, but he hadn't.
Right. Oh, ultimately, I agree. I think Price should have been the MVP. But anyways. Yeah.
I also, David Price doesn't do himself any favors though, because then he walks into the media room, looks around and goes, where is everybody? I'm not doing this for 10 people. And it's like, motherfucker.
Disappointed that there wasn't enough people.
I want to be on your side. Yeah. And then he's like, I have all the cards now. I have the trump card. And I was like, bro, come on.
Yeah. I mean, he's right. He's right,
but you don't have to say it.
There was also...
We all know, David. We all know. You were right and we were wrong. And after 10 years, you figured it out. But he isn't media savvy enough to understand that in that moment, he was right. He held all the cards and
Right.
everyone was on his side. And if he had come out and been excited and like a little deferential and a little like, this is amazing. Like, I'm so happy I was able to do this in the city of Boston. Like, I know how enthusiastic their fans are. And like, I love that. And it's what drew me to the city. And like, this is a dream come true. Oh my God, he would have been a hero,
Yeah.
a local celebrity. But he says that, and then everyone's like, fuck you.
Well, I mean, come on. I don't think his post-game comments like make anybody feel any less good about what he did.
It made me a little like, all right, douchebag. No one needs to hear that from you.
The thing is, I think David Price actually did a really good job this postseason and even before the postseason started of at least, I don't know how he feels, obviously, but he was at least saying the right things
Yes.
regarding his past. Because the thing is like, okay, it's one thing if what the media is writing about you is like some trumped up like narrative,
Right.
but like it was all just, on the scoreboard. Like he just hadn't pitched well in the postseason. It's
Right.
not, it
Just
was
on
0
paper.
for 9 or whatever, right? So like, it's not like a crazy like take to say that David Price
Yeah.
sucks in the postseason. And he had began acknowledging as much. And he was like, yeah, like I gotta perform. Like he said something before the postseason started, but like I could win, all my starts all year and lose in October and I'd still be
Doesn't
like
matter.
hated or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
yep, that's accurate.
Accurate. But
So-
you didn't. And I don't know.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
you had a
could've-
chance.
He could have taken the high road, but see, this is why I say that I don't know how he felt because I think I do know how he felt, and I think he really just fucking hates the media.
I think he
and
hates everybody.
hated the discussion and hated the coverage. But some part of him knew it was true, and either he did a really good job of just simply saying the right things because I think his post game of like his like "fuck you" media tour
Yeah.
really just reveals that he just hates
He
the
hated
writers.
everybody the whole time.
Yeah, so speaking of which,
Yeah.
what'd you say before we started recording? He has 2 days. The Sox have 2 days or something.
Yeah, he had 3 days from the end of the World Series to opt in.
So yeah, and just for context, he has been on the team for 3 years, I believe, maybe 4.
Sure.
And he has
A player option
A
for
player
this year.
option for next year. So the Sox can't opt whatever, but Price can walk if he wants to.
Right. And the Sox have already picked up sales option for 2019.
Like
of
you
course. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Although I don't know how that shoulder might be jacked, but we'll see.
I don't know.
And then so they have a couple big decisions to make as we're now heading into the off season, which is kind of crazy. One, obviously Price actually gets to make the decision.
What do you think? What do you think he will do? What do you think he should do?
So it's parade day tomorrow. Like,
Oh wow! Oh, I wonder what the deadline is.
he
It must
really
be 4
hates
o'clock or
everybody.
something
He could
that.
like get on his duck boat with a sign. Says
with like a
I'm
Miami
out,
Marlins jersey or
motherfuckers.
something.
Yeah.
I would actually.
I think he opts in.
I do too. So that's my prediction. What I would love, and I would actually respect the hell out of David Price if he opted out. I would like tip my cap to David Price, who signed with the Red Sox because they outbid everybody on the free agent market 4
By-
years ago
yeah.
by so much that he really wanted to be a St. Louis Cardinal. The Cardinals experience is nothing like the Red Sox experience
Right.
in terms of pressure and media and fan base. It's a very sort of happy joy
Yeah, you're
environment
not
down
quite
there.
so under the microscope.
So the Red Sox just blew their offer out of the water and basically made him an offer he couldn't refuse, to use the cliche.
Yeah.
And so he comes here, and like anybody that's paid attention to this team over the last 3 or 4 years knows that David Price fucking hates Boston.
Oh, he hates it here.
Hates
Hates it
the
here.
media. He hates the fans. He hates the talk radio. If he was aware of podcasts like ours, he would probably hate us too. Like he fucking hates it. And I would have so much respect for him if he was like, oh, now you fucking like me?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm out.
Peace.
Deuces,
That would
losers.
be fucking sick.
Yeah. I think he will opt in, but his stock's never been higher
Right.
than it is right now. And so he could go somewhere and get probably a 5-year deal.
I don't know. I mean, his stock is very high. That's definitely true. But
There's
I mean,
teams
like,
out
he
there
got
that
a
pay
record-breaking
stupid
contract when he signed here 4 years
Yeah.
ago. So I don't know if he would be able to get that money necessarily.
Right.
Guy gets like $30 million a year or some shit
Dumb.
like that.
But the Sox aren't going to sign him again after next year. There's no way. They'd be stupid to.
But I think the opt-in is for like
2 years.
I think it's more than just the one. It's definitely more than just the one.
We'll
I'm
know
pretty
by tomorrow what he's going to do.
sure. Yeah. Oh God, I would just respect the hell out of David Price if he was like, yeah, fuck you. Like I was gonna leave no matter what. Like winning this World Series has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Because if he fucking failed, right? Like let's just
we'd be like, opt
live in a
out, you
world,
bum.
live in a world where Game 2 was just a loss every like the Yankee
every time.
series, right? So like you win fucking 3 games, but the one that you lost was the Price one, right?
Every
so
time.
like, if that was just the way that this whole postseason went, if they wouldn't have been able to win the World Series that way, obviously, because David Price was a big part of it. But like, he probably would have opted out then.
Yeah, and I don't think
Well, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know, because the money's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, and he would have had a hard time getting an equal contract
Oh, yeah,
because he
totally.
still would have
Yeah,
had that
you're
monkey
right.
on his
Now that I
back
think
of not
about it.
being able to win a postseason game.
Totally. Yeah. So
But
in that
now
case,
that
he
he's
would have stuck
shaking
around.
that, I wonder what he'd get out there. Well,
Yeah.
well, the mystery of it all.
I'd like for him to say, like, he's always been a good regular season
Yeah.
pitcher. It seems like now that he's got like some sort of mental shift. We were talking last week about when he was interviewed about that Game 5 start in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and he referred to himself getting warmed up in the bullpen in Game 4.
Yeah.
And he was like, I found something in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking about, do we think it was like a mechanical thing or like an emotional, spiritual thing or whatever?
Do we- or we think
I was
someone just
thinking it
lied
was
to him?
something mechanical. I thought
Yeah.
he like literally was referring to like a delivery type thing because these guys are all nerds about that. And you had said that you thought it was like more
I thought his
internal, like he
pitching
found
coach just
Jesus.
lied to him and said,
Right.
you're doing this weird thing. Try this. Oh, so much better, David.
Yeah, he had been asked about so since that time he's been asked about that further, and he hasn't gone into specifics of like what it was that he found, but it's pretty clear to me that it was not mechanical. Like it was a mental thing, it was an emotional thing that like I don't know.
Oh, really? Because I heard a report today that he was tipping pitches.
No, that's Kimbrel.
Oh,
Kimbrel had the thing where
was tipping
fucking
his changeup?
What's his face? What's that
from
guy?
the Yankees, right?
No, yeah, from the Yankees series, but oh Jesus Christ, Eric Gagne.
Oh, yeah,
The
called.
guy with the rec specs
Yeah,
from
yeah,
back in
yeah.
the day who
Yeah.
sucked for us, but he like called the Red Sox like, hello,
Right. Hey, remember
Alex
me?
Cora, please.
Yeah.
Dana Levangie, please. And like told him he was doing it. Yeah, that was Kurt Kimball.
Oh.
Which didn't even make sense because Kimbrel was fucking walking everybody.
Yeah.
So
I
great.
don't know what he was tipping. Low and outside.
This one's
Great.
this one's going in the dirt.
Yeah, I could call that too.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't need someone stealing signs behind.
Yeah, I didn't
on
need to
second
see
base
like
tell
what
me.
which way he was wiggling his toes to know he was going to throw ball 4. What would you do with Nathan Eovaldi, another pending free agent? No
Yeah.
option or anything weird there. He's just
Just a
up
free agent because he was a midseason acquisition. My heart says sign him. He was great. Fucking sign him. Let's do it. My
love
head
him.
is like, I don't know.
If there was
it depends how much they get him for it.
if there was a postseason MVP award,
Yeah, it'd be
Nathan
him.
Eovaldi.
It'd be him.
Nathan Eovaldi was fucking
Overall,
balls.
yeah, best team player.
That guy was the best. That was I can't even get over like how good he was. Game 3 in New York, Game 3 in Houston, Game 3 of fucking the LA series that went forever. Like he made his Game 4 start in Game 3 and went
Right.
7 innings scoreless, almost scoreless. And like that guy, just fucking hero.
Yeah, I mean, but see, that's why my heart says, yeah, sign him. But like, can you really take on another big contract pitcher?
Right. I mean, odds are I think they probably won't sign him. Like if he and his agent, whoever that may be, are like
Yeah.
smart, savvy
Right. They should be
business people.
looking for $20 million a year.
Yeah,
I don't think the
should
Red
just
Sox would
go
give
to the
him more than
highest
10.
bidder. And like Nathan Eovaldi, I mean, like, you know, baseball players make a lot of money, so it's not like I'm like feeling too bad. But like Nathan Eovaldi's basically been like a journeyman pitcher his whole career, and like now he can like really cash in.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he only made like $1 or $2 million this season. Like he was not
Couldn't have been a lot.
high paid,
couldn't have been a lot. He's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. Like he was basically like
washed up.
sort of like damaged goods, still young, obviously. Like he's not like old as far as MLB standards go, but yeah, I mean, he should fucking cash in. I doubt it's going to be the Red Sox because they're like right up against it no matter what.
Yeah, they're already into luxury taxes.
yeah, I think so.
A lot. You know who I have a question about?
Yes. I mean, well, no, I don't.
Yeah, well, what are they going to do with Dustin Pedroia?
Who fucking cares?
Well, he's still on the team, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I didn't do enough research to know what his contract situation is. But like, I feel like we're all like, bye.
Yeah.
And he is
kinda.
going to want to hold on.
Maybe. I mean, like he's a baseball player. I assume he's going to want to play. Let me
Yeah.
look up
And
his
then he's going to
contract.
think that he can like come back. But they have this great young, talented core.
Well,
and like,
Here's the thing about the great young talented core is they don't have a great young talented second baseman.
I don't know who they have in Providence that maybe could, or Pawtucket.
They had
Providence.
enough.
I just moved
They
them.
had enough of a gap there to sign Ian Kinsler and sign Brandon Phillips. So yeah, I mean, Pedroia to me, is from a past
Yeah.
Red Sox era. He's signed until 2022.
Whoa, fuck.
So this is a decision they're going to have to make. I mean, I wonder if they could convince him to be like what he was
This year?
this postseason, which was technically, I think he was on IR.
Yeah.
Tony Maserati on Baseball Reporters was talking about this one day earlier because some caller was bitching about how they're wasting a roster spot on Dustin Pedroia. And he was like, no, they're not. He's on IR. And you have to make an appeal to Major League Baseball for an injured player to be on the bench.
Oh.
To be like with the team. And he said generally in the postseason, MLB is extremely lenient with that particular rule, but like technically he's just on IR and shouldn't be with the team, but like they appealed and so he's there. And he was basically just like, I don't really know what he was doing. Like coaching-ish, like sort of kind of coaching, like from the dugout, like a consultant. Like I wonder if they offer him like, do you want to do like, if you like opt out of your contract, we'll do this.
Right.
And if we love you, like Red Sox fans love you. We want to keep you in the organization. We can't keep you on the field.
Right. You can't stay on the field.
You kind of suck. You're hurt all the time.
Right.
And like you're at the end of your career. If you like stay under this contract, like we're going to trade your ass. But,
or DFA you.
But
which would be,
if you don't, I don't think they would do that.
They did it to Hanley.
Yeah, but that's fucking Hanley. That's a whole different
Yeah, but
thing.
if Pedroia is not contributing and no one will take him, like at some point, the betterment of the team has to come first.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they were asking too much for him, then yeah, sure. But I mean, if they were like giving him away on the trade market for like some,
sure.
small
Which is,
potatoes.
if I were Pedroia though, like being traded for a bag of balls or being DFA'd is way more embarrassing. I would rather just retire.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, the thing is like, that's what like a logical person would conclude. Like what I've found in my years of watching sports is no athlete fucking ever quits while they're ahead. Like everybody thinks they have more in them.
Yeah, when
and
they
everybody
think
wants
they're
to
ahead.
play.
Yeah.
Particularly in baseball, where like, he's
You
not
can
that
play.
old.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I think the Red Sox would be smart to be like, hey man, like let's be honest.
This is
Your playing days are behind you.
Right.
We love you though. So maybe just keep doing what you're doing this year and like stay in the organization. I don't know, be a second base, infield coach or something like that. I mean, I'm sure they have that.
Yeah, I'm sure
we
you can have
got
more.
so and so in the minor leagues.
Right, help him get ready.
Totally.
Help him be the new you.
Yeah. Who else, is there any other like big time free agent type things they got to figure out?
There's a bunch of free agent stuff. They got to figure out. Joe Kelly is technically a free agent. Craig Kimbrell. I cannot say that, so he really needs to
This will
go.
probably be the last time.
Thank God, because I can't get that name out of my mouth.
I would get rid of Kimbrell.
I think he's
I would
gone.
consider making fucking Joe Kelly the
closer.
The closer.
Well, yeah, but he's got to keep it together in the middle of the season too.
True.
He can't just fucking fall apart in June, July, and
No,
August.
this is the new model for winning championships.
just
You just suck all year
it.
and then you tighten that shit up in the playoffs and you're good. Yeah, I mean, it should be an interesting offseason, but the real sort of like nucleus of the team, assuming that Price opts in, you got Sale under contract, Price under contract, Mookie, Xander, JD Martinez, like you're in Benintendi, like you're in really good shape there. I mean,
Bradley.
that's how these fucking teams go on and win multiple championships is when you have a lot of homegrown players who are on relatively cheap contracts. It's not when you go out and acquire a bunch of free agents because that fucking hamstrings you. Then you end up like the Dodgers where you got Machado and Puig and Clayton Kershaw and a couple other big names, but they're surrounded by a bunch of sort of journeyman like platoon guys who like aren't really.
And you've traded away your farm system, so you have nobody coming up to replace those guys. Yeah, I think they'll mostly stay together. The triple Bs will be back in action.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing that was very clear in this postseason is the value of their like defensive outfield.
Yeah.
Like it's sick. Like when JD Martinez misplayed that pop-up in that one game. Remember that when he like lost it and like
and
was just totally fucked.
Sun. Yeah.
Yeah. In the sun at like 8:30 in the night.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my God. Like when was the last
we haven't
time
seen that.
you remember anything even close to that? Like that was just like, oh my God, I'm out of my element.
Yeah.
But like, between all the fucking diving catches and like Benintendi like on the run, Mookie
like,
fucking doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Nutcracker
Jackie Bradley
leap.
Jr. is like so fucking good that like he's just always there. Like he doesn't make circus catches because he's just
always in the right place.
He's just always right under it.
I know.
But yeah, I mean that is like incredibly valuable for the Red Sox, and when they're all hitting, all the better. Quick take on Machado / Puig.
Yeah. Machado striking out to end the.
Oh, wasn't that so perfect?
It was just when he came up and it was 2 outs. I was like, oh, please please just strike out. I really want him to
I wanted
strike
to
out
throw
looking.
at him. I was hoping they'd fucking
Ding
plunk
one off
him.
his ass.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Just watching him take that huge cut and go down on the knee as like Vasquez runs out to hug
Yeah.
Sale. I was like, yes.
Dude, Manny Machado is the biggest douche.
He's a
like,
piece of shit.
I'm like struggling to find someone comparable. Like I had previously, like I don't watch a lot of Dodgers baseball, right? So like
Yeah.
I saw the clips
Why would
and I
you?
watched as much as the NLCS as I could while I was watching the ALCS, which obviously took up like 12 fucking hours of my life every 3 days. But like I had previously in our past episode compared him to Brad Marchand.
Oh yeah,
who
like a little nudge.
has like a fucking complex where he just like has to be like fucking with people, you know?
Yeah.
Licking people last season in the playoffs and like dirty hits and blah, blah, blah. He's nothing like Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand competes his fucking ass off. Brad Marchand was like a wicked low draft pick, had to fight and kick and scratch his way into the league. The most frustrating part about Brad Marchand is he's good enough now that he doesn't have to do all that bullshit
Right.
anymore.
And he just keeps
because all
doing
that
it.
little rat fuck shit that he used to do was sort of why teams were like, well, you know, this guy's a little fucking dirtball. Like you hate him when he's not on your team, but you love him when he is. Manny Machado was nothing like that. Manny Machado was like silver spoon as far as baseball is concerned and talent, like super high draft pick, gonna get paid $1 gazillion next year, has always been good and does have that same little complex, but like dude doesn't try.
No, he's no hustle.
Dude does not try. Like what was the quote? The fucking
He said like, I'm not Captain Hustle or whatever, something like that.
So this was in, I think it was in game 2 or
Yeah,
maybe 3 where he hits like a deep ball to left field and he's
Yeah.
like sitting at home plate, like watching it. It
Right. He
bounces off
doesn't
the
even-
wall and turns into a single.
Yeah, it was a long ass single, and he was like, basically said like, well, I'm not going to give it my all running to first, and he's a free agent at the
And
end
it's the
of the
World
season.
Series.
I know,
Like, you're not going to give it your all running
get
to
it.
first on some random
In
fucking
July,
August
fine.
afternoon. Like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. Like, no one's going to really get on you that bad. But like,
because no one's watching.
there are times, Manny, where like things matter and
Right.
running hard down the first baseline like fucking totally matters. At the end of oh god, I'm so bad at remembering which game things happened, but there was a game in which he made the final out, and it was when I think it was in game 4. It was game 4.
He was the final out in game 4 and 5.
Yeah, he grounded out.
Great.
And it was when he fucking stepped on Steve Pierce's leg
Yeah,
at first,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
like, oh, cool, Manny Machado. Of
Classic
all the
Manny Machado.
hundreds of players to cross first base in this year's postseason, you seem to be the only person that can't avoid the first baseman's foot.
Yeah, twice.
You dick. There was another, during that same fucking play, he's like 5 steps away from the first base bag and he's blowing a bubble. He's got gum in his mouth and he's blowing a bubble.
You think it was Big League
running
Chew?
to first. It's like, what are you doing? Just fucking run. Like, oh my God. And Puig, like, I don't know enough about it, but like Yasiel Puig, I guess, I mean, he dogs it down the first baseline. He's not quite as much of a putz as Machado is. Like, he's not dirty, I don't think, but he fucking annoys the shit out of me. Puig does.
Yeah.
I can't. So I have this really
I
difficult
know.
take
It's
with
hard to
Yasiel Puig.
give on the podcast.
If you want to go back and watch any given Yasiel Puig at bat, just watch what he does, like with his body. He doesn't do.
He's basically an alien.
Yeah, like he's a very weird guy, and he doesn't do normal things that baseball players do. In any situation, it's very strange. I can't really describe it, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time
like
trying
a human
to.
and just can't pull it off.
He knows the cameras are on him. He wants to make sure that he like does something memorable to make people remember. I mean, I don't know. It's just like this weird, like narcissistic thing that he has to do to like make sure that he like does something funky. What if the Sox signed Machado? Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah. And that dude, it's like, seriously, Manny Machado, I would love to say that he lost himself a lot of money this offseason, but he didn't because he's still talented as
and
hell.
it's still baseball, and they give people overinflated contracts all the time.
Yeah, every day. And
CJ
like,
Price.
but man, did he fucking embarrass himself this postseason? Like, not only with the dirty play, but with just like lack of effort. Like, you're in the World Series, man. Like, what is wrong
Get
with
it together. If there's 7 games that you're going to give it your all, make it these.
Seriously. Anyways,
Anyway.
What else we got?
We have a couple calls.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Should we play those?
Yeah, we should. right, you want to take some calls?
Yeah, I do. Let's do this.
Hey guys, it's Steven from the Twins. I want to talk about David Price. Really happy that he overcame his struggles in the playoffs. You know, all that crap he pulled from the past 3 years, including his allergy thing, the laundry thing, the can't pitch in the dark thing, the X thing, the Fortnite thing, and the Johnny Miller thing. All is forgiven. I think this is the best possible outcome for both Price and the Sox that he became hot so late in the postseason. Here's my take. I think he's going to opt out. Someone is going to pay him 5 for 150 with a lot less stress from the media. I think the Sox can use that money to sign Eovaldi long-term for less than $30 per year on Price, then use that savings to get some help in middle relief or get a fifth starter. What are your thoughts?
All right, so Price. We talked a little bit about how I think it would be fucking rad as shit if he opts out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he opts out, the problem, right, is the gamble that he's taking. Because, like, there's no guarantee that you walk away and someone else is going to give you that money. Like, all signs would point to yes. And I'm sure his agent has done some homework to find out if that's even a possibility. But, like, he has to decide quick before he really even has a chance to think. Like, his World Series high isn't even over yet. And they're like, well, you coming back or not?
Yeah, what's the deal?
Buddy. And so I think he's going to stay.
Yeah, if I'm picking it, I think he stays.
Yeah,
because at this point, like, he's got the monkey off his back. He knows he's going to make lots of money. Obviously, right. I mean, at the time that he signed that contract 4 years ago, he was the highest paid pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, just dumb.
Which I think has since no longer become the case. But like, it would make sense for him to stick around. I think more so than it would to leave. But unless he really just wanted to be like, get me the fuck out of Boston. Like,
yeah.
In which case, like I said, I would respect the hell out of him. I don't know if I'm necessarily rooting for that. Like, I don't like hate David Price.
Sure. Just double freedom rockets.
But
all
it would
over the
be,
place.
I would be like, damn, man, that's ballsy. If he was like, yeah, oh, you like me now? Bye-bye.
Yeah. Don't care. I'm out.
Something about his first point, Steven from the Twins' first point.
Yeah.
Do you think all that like Price bullshit stuff where he was just kind of like a baby making excuses about allergies and
Pitching
numb
in the
fingers
cold,
and all that stuff. Do you think that's all erased now?
Yeah. I think Red Sox fans are a very forgiving bunch. So I think like the minute you come up big and win a World Series, like the way David Price did essentially, yeah, I think he's now locked in as a fan favorite.
Yeah.
If he reverts,
it's a whole different thing. Though,
whole other
right?
story.
I mean, he's still himself. Like, I don't think he's going to become
still a tool.
Like, if he changes everything about himself, you know, like from like pitching performance is one thing, but also personality and the way that he comports himself with the media and like whatever, like
fans,
then I guess so. You keep in mind though, there's been a lot of like redemption stories in Boston sports where like the guy leaves. Like my reference last week was like John Lackey. Like he was an asshole for like 3 or 4 years and then he won the World Series in 2013, then he was gone.
Yeah,
so like
maybe you're better off to leave on top.
If he quits while he's ahead, certainly all that other shit is forgiven, no doubt about it. But if he's on the team for like another 3 years and like
he never repeats this performance,
then like I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to see.
This becomes the one-off, and not the thing you remember.
Right?
It's like, he had that one good year. Okay, it was 1 year. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, want to do another call?
Hi, this is Shamu from Medford. And I just wanted to ask the question, a nice trivia question. The Red Sox didn't lose more than 3 games in a row this season. I wonder when the last time it was that a team made it through the whole season without losing more than 3 in a row. It seemed really unusual and really special. And in the light of the World Championship, that's something that might get passed over. But I thought it was very significant this season about the kind of team and how they weren't going to stay down for very long. Thanks.
Good question.
Good question. So
if you've listened to our podcast a lot, though, Shamu, you know we don't deal in facts very often, so I don't know the answer to your question.
So last team, not Red Sox team, just any team.
Yeah, I have a guess.
What's your guess?
My guess would be the '98 Yankees,
who were 98 Yankees.
But I have no idea. Could also tell me it was like the 01 Pirates, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, 98 Yankees were 114 and 48.
Yeah.
That's pretty goddamn good. That's what the Sox did this year, right? 114?
No, 108.
108, right.
It was 119 with all their postseason.
Oh, right. 01 Mariners, Seattle Mariners were 116.
Oh, yeah, that was a good team.
And 46. I'll take them.
Okay.
I'll take those
Shamu,
guys.
tweet us and tell us
I feel like Shamu and Medford being a local guy, I feel like it might be a Red Sox team.
Oh, well, now
Like it could be like 67 or something like that.
wouldn't that be an interesting turn?
Who knows? If you got Twitter, you can tweet at us or call back next week.
Yeah, and let us know if
Lines are open.
how wrong we are.
Here's another question though.
Yeah.
Do you think that the fact that they didn't lose more than 3 in a row was like a significant factor in the postseason?
Yeah, because I think that winning breeds winning. And like you are heading into this postseason with the mentality of like, well, we've never lost more than 3 in a row. And like, you can't tell me they don't know that. Like they've never had a slump. They've never had a losing streak. They never had to bring themselves out of it. All they know is like how to win and how good they are together. And so I think that confidence goes a long way when you're heading into the postseason and like no lead is too big to overcome. And, you know, no pitcher or team is like so significantly better than you that like you don't have a chance against them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it keeps the team feeling like we've got this. We've had it all season. We can keep doing it for 3 more series.
Yeah. To me, the not losing more than 3 in a row, never losing more than 3 in a row is more of like a matter of focus. Like in baseball, more than any other sport, they play 162 goddamn games for Christ's sakes.
fucking
Like
lot.
very easy to just take a game off, you know,
Yeah.
mentally.
Sure.
And we talked about this earlier in the season that one of the biggest differences between the Yankees and the Red Sox in terms of record was the Yankees would pretty regularly drop games to teams that they really should beat
Yeah.
on any given night. And the Red Sox really didn't. They stayed locked in all year. It's why they won as many games as they did. And I think that's just that like day in, day out, like focus, like no days off type mentality is something that definitely like once it's playoff time, it's not like you're, you know, getting like kicked into playoff
Yeah.
mode and like high gear of effort at just this one time of year. Like the Red Sox were locked into like, we're a fucking winning team. We're going to take every game seriously. We're going to try really hard and we're going to win. Like that
Good
was
point.
their approach from day one.
Yeah, you don't have to turn it on.
Yeah.
Because it's been on the whole time.
And I mean, teams will tell you that that's their approach from day one, but like when you watch them, you're like, yeah, clearly, like,
Right.
you know, whatever. You're gonna fucking,
They don't phone it in.
yeah. And it's like, you know, Patriot-esque is what I would call it in terms of just like week in, week out. Like you never see the Patriots drop of random fucking, rarely anyways, over the years, do you see them like really lose a game they shouldn't
Right.
lose. So yeah, I do think that was significant. On a related note,
Yeah.
we got an email this week.
I'm so excited.
Which-
you can email us too.
If you're thinking to yourself out there, Titletown listener, I never heard him throw an email address out there. Well, that's true. We haven't. But if you want to email us, you can do so at TitletownSportsPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, knock yourselves out.
Yeah, go freaking crazy. This particular emailer goes by Christine, and she says, consider this a write-in for Titletown as I'm at work and cannot call. She
Responsible.
says, Alex Spear wrote an article in the Boston Globe today about the Sox reason for success. And his conclusion was that it was forming a tight bond as teammates since day one with Alex Cora as manager. He quotes in that article assistant pitching coach Brian Bannister. Bannister says, you can assemble great talent, but chemistry is the thing people argue about. Is it there? Is it a real thing? That's true, Brian Bannister. We do argue about
Yeah.
that.
It's like you're speaking right to us.
Brian Bannister goes on to say, I've been on a lot of teams and there were only a couple that have had this kind of chemistry. And you don't win 108 games without it. So Christine goes on to say that her question is for me specifically. And after shitting all over the Eagles team chemistry, criticizing Lane Johnson for suggesting teams should have fun and claiming that the chemistry argument is overrated in all sports. Well, the chemistry argument is great. The chemistry itself is overrated in all of sports. And a winning comes first type mentality is, wait, I lost my spot. Are you ready to admit that Melissa was right in episode 25, Deep Poll?
Great citation.
I think we're on 55 right now, and say that team chemistry comes first, or at least equally as important as skill, considering that it seems to be the take of the Red Sox themselves. Thanks. Love the show. Christine.
She sounds smart. Yeah, Craig, are you ready to admit you were wrong?
Well, so here's what I think. I think that the difference, like this team clearly had great chemistry.
Right.
No doubt about that. I don't deny that chemistry exists. My question has always been, what comes first? Do winning teams have more fun because they're winning, and then therefore you get things like, you know, the little dick slap thing that the Red Sox did at second base every time that they would like hit an extra base hit, or like all these little like fun, goofy, you know, guys putting pie in each other's face after walk-offs, or like dumping Gatorade, like whatever, like shit like that. Like Does that, are you happy because you're winning or are you winning because you're happy has always been sort of my question. And I've fallen on the happy because you're winning side of that argument. But I think definitely if you take this team and like you look at the difference between this team and last year's team, where roster wise, other than Evaldi, JD Martinez, Steve Pierce, and Alex Cora and Ian Kinsler is basically the same roster. I mean, there's like 40 guys. Like, so yeah, I mean, one of the differences between this year and last year, when last year was a postseason failure and this one was obviously a success, I think is the chemistry on the team for sure.
Oh my God.
But
I'm taking that as a win.
90% of the reason that they're there in the first place is the talent on the roster.
Yeah, but I think that you can only do so much with the talent if you don't have each other's backs and you're not willing to like support each other and encourage each other and be like moving in the same direction. Like, are you all equally invested and do you enjoy each other and do you like relish seeing your peers succeed because you have a great relationship with them? Like, are you willing to equally celebrate with them and use that as maybe momentum for your own behavior and your own play on the field because you want to do the best for those guys around you because they're doing their best for you because you have great team unity and chemistry.
Yeah, totally.
I think Alex Cora inspired that. And I think it shows in the way that he was able to handle the team and manage the team and they supported him at every turn.
That part is very clear. The Cora element and like, there's a lot of that's like, that's a big part of the job of manager is like manage the relationships, manage the egos, manage the team in a personal relationship type of way, as well as obviously on the field. And like, you'd be hard pressed to find an interview with any player on this roster who doesn't cite Alex Cora as one of the reasons that they won the World Series. So like chemistry or whatever, like the Cora factor was huge, massive. In fact, earlier, like way early, before the season even started, before they signed JD Martinez, I was like excited because I really didn't like John Farrell. And I was like, oh, this will be interesting. If they actually don't make any changes other than manager, it'd be fascinating just from like a troubleshooting perspective. Like from 17 to 18, you only make one change and just see what happens. Like I've obviously a lot's happened since then, but at the time I was like, oh, that would be really funny to see just how bad John Farrell was if you only make one change to
and it would be a good like experiment on the role of the manager. Because a lot of times people say like, oh, a manager in baseball doesn't really need to do anything. But it'd be interesting to see like what impact they do have.
Totally. And I mean, it was obvious to anybody with a fucking brain that Cora was making a huge impact and listen to anything the players have to say. Like they'll cite AC as a huge reason that they won for sure. And their chemistry was untouchable chemistry. All right, so we're gonna forgo. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
You have another thing?
No, I was gonna say the same thing you were about to say.
We're gonna forgo our lightning round this week.
Our traditional.
It's been a long episode, so we're gonna truncate our normal lightning round where we go around the world of sports and we want to boil it down to 2 questions.
Yeah. So we've spent a lot of time talking about the 2018 World Championship Boston Red Sox. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have their parade tomorrow. I want to ask you, in summary,
what's my costume going to be?
Yeah, mine's going to be Alex Cora. Do you think this is the best Red Sox team ever?
Do I think this is the best Red Sox team ever? Short answer, yes, I do. They beat the shit out of the league and they beat the shit out of their playoff opponents. So like, just in terms of like scoreboard, they fucking knocked everybody's teeth in all year.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal a take real quick. So I was, like I said earlier, maybe I was listening to the Sports Hub like after the game was over and someone stayed on the air all night. I want to say it was Adam Kaufman, but I honestly don't remember. So sorry to whoever that person is. But they were talking about whether, same question, and they differentiated between the greatest Red Sox team of all time versus the best Red Sox team of all time. And I kind of like that take and am now going to take it, which is the fact that like nothing's ever going to top 04 because number one, they were a fucking wagon. They were really, really good. Yeah. And number two, you can't like quantify like just the weight of the 86 years and the curse and the history and the previous year, 03 and Aaron Boone and all that sort of stuff. And just like all that
PTSD
was just like so much. And so like that was the greatest one.
Yeah.
Like this one might be better just on paper, like how they performed, but I don't know if they're the greatest.
Yeah, from a statistical perspective, this team is certainly better. But I think from a legacy and like meaningfulness to the city, the 04 team has to surpass any team ever.
Totally. And I mean, also, I think it's yet to be seen like what happens next. Like if the Red Sox win the World Series next year,
Oh, God.
with like the same roster, more or
Yeah.
less. Like obviously, there's going to be little changes around the edges, but like fundamentally, like Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, Jackie Bradley, Andrew Benintendi, JD Martinez, Alex Cora, Chris Sale, David Price, all these motherfuckers. You know, like they're a lot of them are going to come back.
Whole lineup.
Yeah. So like I don't know, maybe if they win back to back, like we might have a different discussion. But for now, 04 is can't be touched. Here's a good one for you, Melissa. I know
Yeah.
you have a lot of passion about this.
I do.
You're not alone. You at home may have noticed that on the broadcast of some of these games, you've heard a Yankees suck chant coming from the crowd. As much as I'd like to chalk that up to like LA Red Sox fans who are like out of town and out of touch and just like being stupid.
Yeah, bandwagoners.
It did happen in Fenway, and you heard it in some of the coverage on Sunday night when they won. So I want your opinion. How do you feel about this whole Yankee suck thing when, goes without saying, the Yankees have not been in the playoffs now for like 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's amateur hour. Like, I saw a quote where someone from the Yankees organization was like, well, it just shows that we're in their fans' psyche. And I just think it's like, what? When you're playing the Yankees, absolutely bring that out.
Bring
like,
it on.
It's there. Do it.
Let
Go
it
for
rain
it.
down from the heavens.
When they're not even involved and they've been on the golf course for 10 days, like, leave it at home. Stop talking about them. You know, and I just think, like, you had an opportunity to you are the bigger team. You are the better team in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
By a significant margin. Stop letting them dominate your thoughts around baseball. They should be chanting Boston sucks. Should be the opposite way.
Yeah. I hard agree. I mean, like we've exercised the demon.
Yeah, it's over.
And yeah, it's just like lame.
You made a point earlier too that off the air, but there is a built-in chant already.
Right.
Like,
yeah. For a Boston LA
Boston
series.
LA is not a new.
You got beat LA. It's right there for you.
It's
right there.
I got a million posters I can show you.
Remember that, like the Celtics even this year in their Philadelphia series made the shirts like the beat Philly, like capitalize L, play on thing. Like that's an established thing. You want to chant something, chant that.
Right. Easy. It's there. We're not even asking you to make up something new. Use what already exists, people.
Title time.
Yeah, to start that chant. That would be great.
Like my friend on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pissed me off too.
Anyway.
Wait, can I get your take on David Ortiz being on the field after they won?
No. You're just trying to make me
No,
angry
because
now.
one of the things I was just thinking about how we've like exercised the demon on the Yankees thing is that like we even get to enjoy watching David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez on TV after every game breaking it down, and A-Rod has to sit there and fucking eat shit.
I know, I do like that
So
part.
that's even better.
A Big Papi, get the fuck out of here. I saw him come running out in his suit and he put the World Series hat on. I
Yeah.
think that might have been the part that irritated me the most. Is like, you're not on the team, dude. Like, you didn't win. You're not a World Series champion this year. And like, you're great and you're a like legend in this town.
Oh, yeah.
Leave it at that. I don't need like Larry Bird running on the court the next time the Celtics win a championship.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Let it go.
The thing with David Ortiz, for anybody that watched him, he was, not exactly nonpartisan.
No, yeah, of course.
And I mean, I can understand why he was particularly excited because he's not so far removed from
Right,
this
he
team.
was there
Like,
last
he
year,
played
like-
with Mookie Betts. He played with
He
Jackie
knows
Bradley,
those
like-
guys. He should be pumped. He
And I'm
should
sure
not
he
be
gave
on
him
the field.
a lot of tutelage in his, in his crossover years with them. But yeah, he was definitely feeling like he was part of it.
He
there.
was like the
He also played with Alex Cora. Like, he was like very much. I'll give him this one.
he was like the college junior whose high school team just won a championship running out onto the field. Like,
At the house party.
go away.
With a beard.
Exactly. Get lost. He's like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Anyway.
All right. Anyhow, well, that was a good long episode.
Great season by the Red Sox. We put a little bow on it.
Great postseason. Great World Series. It was a lot of fun.
Ready to move on to the other three teams and
Sure are.
hopefully repeat some success there.
Totally.
That would be lovely.
Totally.
If you have any thoughts, please hit us up at any and all social media at Titletown Pod.
We also got an email address if you want to use that
Yeah,
too. If you
knock
want to go
yourself
more
out.
long form, if 140 characters is too restricting, Titletown Sports Podcast at gmail.com is, I believe, our email address.
It is. I checked. And you can always call us, obviously, at 904-87-TT-POD.
Nice.
Leave a message.
We're always there. And if you're feeling frisky, you can go on to iTunes, leave us a review or a rating or both. And if you really want to help us out, if you're a fan of the show, tell a friend. This is a great time to be a Boston sports fan and therefore a
Right.
great time to listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
So-
tell the person next to you on a plane.
yeah. All right. See you
Anyway.
next week.
Bye.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Is my math right on the four? I wrote fourth time in 14 years, or is it 15 years for the Red Sox? How do you count that 04 thing?
It was 04.
I know that was 14 years ago, but every article I read keeps saying 15 years.
04 to 14 is 10.
Yeah. 15, 16, 17, 18.
17,
But
18.
you count, it's like 4,
Why would it
5,
be
6,
15?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. See, it's very confusing.
Yeah, 4 to 14 is 10, and then 11 is
Yeah, but it's because you have to count
I'm sorry,
4.
yeah. Wait, so I can't do this right now. 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah,
15.
15.
Okay.
Because you count both.
Right. They both count in this case.
Yeah, 04 is
Just
not 0, 04 is
normal.
1.
Right. Fuck it. I like. I better make sure we get that right before we record that. Anyway.